A diary was found in the attic of a house being demolished. No one was looking for it, and when someone finally opened it, they realized it was never meant to be found. The house was old, built in the 1940s, sat empty for years after the last owner died. The city bought the land, scheduled demolition, sent a crew to clear it out before the machines came. Most of what they found was trash, broken furniture, water-damaged boxes, decades of dust and rot. But in the attic, beneath a pile of moth-eaten blankets, there was a wooden crate. Inside the crate was a leather-bound diary. The cover was cracked, the pages yellowed and brittle, the binding loose but intact. One of the workers opened it, saw handwriting, dates, entries. He closed it, set it aside, brought it to the project supervisor. The supervisor flipped through it, stopped on a page, read a few lines. Then he called someone, not the family, not the city, a historian. Because what was written in that diary wasn't just personal, it was evidence. The diary belonged to a woman named Clara. No last name in the entries, just Clara. The first entry is dated March 12, 1943. She writes about the weather, about rationing, about how quiet the neighborhood has become since the men left for the war. Ordinary things, small observations, the kind of writing people do when they're trying to fill silence. But then the entries shift. April 3, 1943. They took the Lewins today, early morning. I heard the trucks. By the time I looked out the window, they were already gone. Mrs. Lewin left her door open. I can still see it from here. No explanation, no context, just that. The next few entries are shorter, more careful. She stops using names, starts using initial, then just descriptions. The family with the yellow curtains. The old man who used to sit on his porch. The couple with the little boy. All gone, all taken, all within weeks. And Clara is writing it down, recording it, as if keeping a record might make it real, might make it matter. The historian traced the address of the house. It was in a small town in Pennsylvania, a place most people have never heard of. During World War II, the town had a modest population, mostly working-class families, a few immigrant communities, quiet, unremarkable. But in 1943, something happened. Records show that several families were detained under the Enemy Alien Control Program, a federal initiative that allowed the government to arrest, detain, or relocate people of German, Italian, or Japanese descent who were deemed security risks. Most history books focus on Japanese internment camps. Fewer talk about the others, but it happened in small towns, in communities where neighbors turned on neighbors, where suspicion was enough. Clara's diary documents it. Not from the perspective of the detained, but from the perspective of someone who watched, who saw it happen, who did nothing. The entries become more fragmented as the months pass. She stops dating them consistently. Sometimes there are gaps, days, weeks. When she writes again, it's different. June 1943. I went to the store today. Mrs. Hawes was there. She didn't look at me. I don't think anyone looks at anyone anymore. We all know, but no one says it. Then nothing for 2 weeks. July 1943. I saw a child's shoe in the street today. Small, blue, I don't know whose it was. I didn't pick it up. I should have, but I didn't. The tone shifts. She's not just recording anymore. She's confessing. August 1943. I could have said something. I could have done something, but I was afraid, and now they're gone, and I'm still here, and I don't know which is worse. The historian searched for records of the families Clara mentioned. Some were easy to find. Arrest records, detention logs. A few were released after the war, returned to find their homes sold. Their belongings gone. Others disappeared completely. No records after detention, no trace. Clara's diary is one of the only written accounts of what happened in that town from a civilian perspective, from someone who lived through it. But she never published it, never shared it, never told anyone. She just wrote, and then she stopped. The last dated entry is October 17, 1943. I can't do this anymore. That's all it says. The rest of the pages are blank. Clara lived in that house for 40 more years. She never married, never had children, worked as a clerk at the local library, kept to herself. People in town remembered her as quiet, polite, unremarkable. She died in 1984. No obituary, no funeral notice, just a death certificate. The house sat empty after. No one claimed it. No relatives came forward, and the diary stayed in the attic, hidden under blankets, in a crate no one opened for 41 years. The historian tried to locate surviving family members of the people Clara wrote about. Most were dead, but a few descendants remained. One woman, the granddaughter of a family Clara mentioned, agreed to read excerpts. She said her grandmother never spoke about what happened, just that they were taken, held for months. Released with no explanation. No apology. Her grandmother moved away after the war, changed her name, never went back. She died believing no one remembered, that the town had erased them. But Clara remembered, she wrote it down, kept the record, even if she never showed it to anyone, even if it sat in an attic for decades. There's a question the historian keeps coming back to. Why did Clara stop writing? The diary goes silent in October 1943. But she lived until 1984. 41 more years. She could have continued, could have written about the end of the war, about what happened to the families who returned, about how the town moved on. But she didn't. Maybe she couldn't. Maybe the guilt became too heavy. Or maybe she realized that writing it down didn't change anything, didn't bring anyone back, didn't undo what she witnessed. Maybe silence felt easier. The diary is in an archive now, preserved, cataloged, available to researchers. A few scholars have written about it, used it as a primary source for papers on wartime detention, on civilian complicity, on the small, quiet ways people participated in injustice by doing nothing. But most people don't know it exists. Clara's name isn't in textbooks. The town isn't mentioned in major history. It's just one diary, one woman's account, one small record of something most people would rather forget. But here's what stays with you. Clara wasn't a villain. She didn't arrest anyone, didn't report her neighbors, didn't support the detentions. She just watched and stayed silent and wrote about it in a diary no one would read. And that silence, that inaction, haunted her for the rest of her life, enough that she stopped writing, stopped trying to make sense of it, stopped trying to reconcile what she saw with who she wanted to be. She just lived, quietly alone, carrying it, until she died. And the diary stayed hidden, waiting. The diary is still there. In the archive, behind glass, the pages are fragile, the ink faded, the handwriting sometimes hard to read, but the words remain, a record of what happened and what didn't happen, and the space between the two. A record of people who were taken and people who stayed, and the silence that followed. How many diaries like this are still hidden? How many voices recorded something and then stopped? How many truths are sitting in attics, in basements, in boxes no one opens, waiting for someone to care enough to look?